Hey everyone, today I'll be taking you through some activities that we did through the week, so stay tuned in and hope that you're going to enjoy the video. We started off by getting some pepper and aloe vera for our chicken. If you've watched our videos, you know this is something that we usually do. And after that, we tried to get some weeds from some of our beds. Some of our beds, the rains are here with us. It's raining more regularly and we're getting quite some weeds on the farm, so here we're just trying to clean up some weeds from some of our beds. You may remember these sweet potatoes, the orange ones that we got from the supermarket. Planted the four of them at different places in two beds, and we've been getting sweet potato slips for quite a while now. So what we usually do is just pick a few and transplant whenever the slips are up. So this is the second time that I'm transplanting the slips, and on this bed we mainly have um, those orange sweet potato slips planted, and just a few tomatoes and lettuce, but majority of the bed is just the orange sweet potatoes. It's the first time that we've done this on the farm, the orange sweet potatoes, and we'll be giving you the progress. And I think probably in 4 months we should be able to harvest our very first orange sweet potatoes from the farm. We also did some work on the new project that we've been working on. The groundnuts are looking good. We did some replacements on the sweet potatoes that I mentioned were being eaten by moles. We got somebody who actually was able to track two of them, yeah, and trapped them actually. So that's why we are replacing the sweet potatoes. Hopefully, we don't encounter that issue again. After that, we went and just the soil that had accumulated over the arrowroots, just getting rid of some of it. And also this is a place where we are going to apply the chicken manure to these arrowroots on this part of the farm. They're doing very well, as you can see, very healthy. Yeah, so just making sure that the soil that had accumulated, we just push some of it away so that when it rains, the arrowroots are able to absorb water more easily. Remember that we mentioned the stems. Some of the stems had almost been covered by the soil, so just trying to assist the plants to be able to grow more naturally. So this is the chicken manure that we got from one of our chicken coop. Just cleaned it this morning, and this is what we are putting in our arrowroots. Remember, in our kind of farming, we do not use chemical fertilizers, so we only use what we get on the farm. So if we get some chicken manure or some compost, that is what we usually use on our farm. So later on, we went to pick some radish. We actually mentioned this before that our rabbits really love radish. And because we had some seeds that had remained, we actually planted some on our new project, and we've been feeding them to the rabbits. So this is the last batch of radish that we are going to be giving to the rabbits. As I mentioned before, we really didn't like the taste of radish, so that's why we decided to just plant them for our rabbits. Usually mix this with a few weeds and feed them to the rabbits. The rabbits. So later on, we went back to the upper part of the farm and picked some tree tomatoes. That's the red tree tomatoes. Not all the fruits are ripe, so the ones that are not ripe would be ripening them in the house. Yeah, for the yellow tree tomatoes, we don't have any that are ready right now. So I guess they'll be the next ones we'll pick as the red tree tomato fruits again. We are now headed to pick some passion fruits. Last time we showed you that they started ripening, and how you know is because the fruit starts turning purple. So we just picked a few that have started turning purple just for them to ripen in the house. We could have actually left them on the fruit, but we did realize that they started disappearing. So we decided to ripen some in the house for the kids to be able to enjoy. We also harvested some sugarcane. We've really been enjoying sugarcane on this farm for the longest time now. It's one of those things that we no longer buy since we started our self-sufficiency journey. It took us about 1.5 years to be able to eat our first sugarcane. But since then, we've not been buying any sugarcane from the market. This is some parsley that we planted in plastic bottles, and then we also picked some mint. We have 3 beds with mint. We really love having mint with our water. It's one of the things that it's one of the ways in which we take our mint. Last week we harvested one bunch. Is it called a bunch of bananas? And today we also harvesting another one. What we realized is that this one had actually started ripening on the banana plant, and even some birds had feasted on it. So it was about time to also harvest it. And because it's quite heavy compared to the one we harvested last week, so I'll not be the one harvesting it today. So yeah, we're just getting it from the tree, and we use the same method that we did last week. It seems to work very well. Thanks to Karanja for pointing that to us. So what we do is we just cut a little bit of the stem and then pull the plant down so that we don't hurt any of the bananas. This method seems to work very well, and we thank our friend Karanja for actually having directed us to try this.
Yeah. Sabrina, help me. Wow, give me a touch. And it's too heavy for the banana. Woo!
So this is the second time that we've harvested a banana from that bunch of bananas, and usually they're usually so heavy it takes two men to carry the bunch to our front yard. If you remember, we harvested our first beans from our new project, and they've been drying on our front yard. It's been a couple of days since we harvested them, and we did get some time to now actually remove the beans from the pods. As you're going to see in the next clip, it was you can see it was a nice harvest, given it's the first biggest batch of beans that we planted. So hopefully that we hope that the yellow beans that are still on the farm are going to actually give us more. Uh, Hopefully they don't get spoiled by the heavy rains that we are currently having. We actually planted beans at different sizes, so we spaced them out in weeks just to make sure that we have adequate beans to last us quite some time. So here is we are just turning the beans, and because they are very dry, just beating them with a stick, and they easily fall out of the pod. After cleaning out much of the bean plant from the beans, now we are taking the bean plants to the lower part of, to the farm actually, and we're just going to use them as mulch for some of our collard greens and the onions. So that's how we decided. We could have easily taken them to our compost pit, but for now we decided to use them as mulch. Yeah, so now here just arranging some of those bean plants as mulch to our small crops and also to our onions. We hope you enjoyed today's video. Be sure to leave a comment and we'll see you on our next video next week. Bye bye.